problem is all inside your head, she said to me. The answer is easy if you take it logically.
Hey guys, Mike Keller. So here's what we got in 1988, January 25th, 1988. I was down at the Waste Isolation Pilot Project, WIPP, at Carlsbad, New Mexico. It was the first underground nuclear repository, and they dug these tunnels 2,500 feet underground, half-mile underground, and they were going to store transuranic waste. That's the stuff that is incidental to the nuclear process: gloves, aprons, mixing tools, containers, all of the stuff except the actual plutonium or whatever waste they had. No high-level waste, just what they called transuranic waste. So I went there to take pictures for the Times, and I've got all sorts of stuff. They were storing the waste in 55-gallon drums, and then they dug all of these holes in the salt formation underground where they stored these drums. Some of this stuff, like this shot here, I think that's flash. That one there with a bunch of punch marks on the bottom of it. It might have been one of the ones they used. Let's print that one and see what it looks like. I had been printing some 6x7 negatives, so the enlarger's kind of out of adjustment. Take a second here to get it right. But even as I'm doing this, I'm already looking at the range in the negative. How bright are the whites gonna be? These guys' shirts are pretty bright. The shadows, those drums in the distance, am I gonna be able to see those? So I'm already thinking about the exposure that's coming. Now I'm gonna take a quick look through the grain focuser here. And here's the first test strip. Now this is with the number 1 contrast filter. I'm going to want a little more contrast. So I changed the filter. It turns out that was a 1.5 that was in there. So I went up to a 2. And see what that has. So some of these videos come out with copyright infringements on the music that's playing in the background. And I found that if I cut the video into several different sections, don't take anything out, just cut it and then put it back together, somehow that makes it less of an offense to the computers that search our YouTubes for copyright violations. Where are we here? Almost a minute and a half. So here's where I'm at, 4 test strips. These guys are still a little hot. I'm dodging about half of the exposure to get those barrels looking good and get these guys acceptable, but their white shirts are too bright. I mean, I've got where I can see their legs, I can see detail there. So I got to do this again, do exactly what I did, but then go back and burn in about 3 seconds on each of their shirts and try not to get their faces too dark. And I might put a touch on that bulb up there. I don't know. I need the bulb in the frame because of the reflection on this guy's safety goggles. He would look kind of funny without that indication of where that light's coming from. And having that light there is a little bit of a cover for me and my flash too. If you turn the safe lights on, you can see. Got two Dodgers. One I'm using for the guys, the other for everything else, and with the music. Now I'm going to go back. And the bowl. Watch here, when I reset the timer, I use the back of my finger. Just don't use the wet part. Close enough. Gotta keep those corners wet. I don't know. I'm going to take a couple seconds off, do the same thing, and then maybe turn in that light bulb just a little bit more. Okay, so here's my edit. The pictures that I put together that tell the story of me going down the hole there to see what those guys were doing on the particular day that they invited us to come. This was not like I got to go down there and wander around, take pictures of whatever I wanted. We were accompanied by a group of probably 4 or 5 people. The head of the project, Wendell Wirt, was there, and the picture was going to be of him someplace doing something, and I kind of figured that that was down in the hole with the drums buried in the ground, and him talking to his engineering supervisor. So that was the picture, but when I go out on an assignment, I take pictures of as many things as possible. I'm always looking for different opportunities. You're in an environment that you're not usually able to get to, and I look around and take a lot of pictures and sort it out later. Lots of times my approach is to take the picture that they expect me to take, and then I'm taking a lot of other pictures, and I really seriously doubt that setup photo is the one that gets used. So I'm looking for the behind the scenes stuff. And this is kind of that sort. It wasn't really meant to be a picture story. It was a 1 or 2 picture deal for the Times, but for me, I always like getting a lot of the background. Now, that doesn't mean you're just wildly shooting everything. That means you're looking around for things that are happening that are significant, and then you're trying to frame those in a way that you're making an interesting and a relevant picture. So these are the images that tell the overall story. And as it turns out, I spotted that funnel taped to the ceiling and asked a few questions and got that picture of old Wendell Wirt there standing next to the water dripping down in the area that's supposedly so very, very dry. And it turns out that's the picture that ran in the paper. So
There you go. Keep your eyes open.
The problem is all inside your head, she said to me.